Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Hello, this is the Italian Wine Podcast with me, Monty Waldin. Today I'm in the Marche at the Moroder Winery with Marco Moroder, who's the winemaker and manager there at the moment. Tell us a little bit about your family history.
So, hello everybody. It's a family business since 1837, when my ancestor founded the winery, and now it's my father, me and my brother, so the 7th and the 8th generation of Moroders. So we are located in the National Natural Park of Conero Mountain. A small area face the sea.
So the Adriatic Sea?
The Adriatic Sea, so vineyards 238 meters above the sea level at the same time. It's less than 1 kilometer from the sea.
Why did you look a little bit like a surfer with your beard and your kind of slightly rangy look? Why didn't you just spend your life on the beach rather than working really hard in the vineyards?
Motocross in the vineyard.
Oh, you do motocross, do you?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, right, we can talk about that. So this is no longer the Italian Wine Podcast, this is the Italian Motocross Podcast. So, I mean, do you literally drive around the vineyard on your bike looking for, I don't know, say disease or when the grapes are ripe?
Yes,
do you do that?
Everything. And
really?
Often, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's quite funny also.
So do you have races? Do you have like any siblings, any brothers and sisters you race around, or friends that you race around the vineyard with?
With some friends, and also, actually, my father teach it to me. So,
and he's a motor fan as well, is he?
Yeah, it's motor fan as well.
Who's the better rider?
Me, of course.
Yeah, okay. I knew you were going to say. Okay. So listen. So tell us a little bit about your vineyard. Exactly, the terroir, the soils, why it is so special being so close to the sea.
Actually, the area is completely different from the rest of the Adriatic, because usually the Adriatic is very shallow with sand. On the beach you have to walk for like 2,000 meters before the water starts to go deep, while here the sand is completely disappeared, and the coast is rocky, the land calcareous and clay.
So limestone.
Yeah, usually you find white grapes cultivation on the coast, while here the historical grapes of the area is Montepulciano, so black grapes cultivated on the sea. Historical means that Plinio the Elder in his Naturalis Historia, so 2,000 years ago, already talked about the red grapes cultivated in the area of Conero.
Okay, so sorry, I'll just interrupt you, but so just tell me a little bit about Pliny. What did he do? The history with Montepulciano grape?
Historical red grapes of the area, it means that even Plinio the Elder in his Naturalis Historia, a book written 2,000 years ago, talk about the red grapes cultivated in the area and the red wine produced on the Conero mountain.
From the Montepulciano grape?
From this variety of Montepulciano, yeah.
So what is the altitude of your vineyard?
It's between 200 and 250 meters above the sea level, but at the same time less than 1 kilometer from the sea.
Okay, so, and in terms of wind and sea breezes, is that a problem for you disease-wise?
Actually, it's something that help the grapes.
Really?
So, yeah, a lot of excursion between the days and the night, very windy during the night, especially during the night. Montepulciano is a late harvest variety, so it is helpful to have the wind and the salty air that helps to clean the grapes.
So there's less disease pressure because of these salty winds?
And actually it helps us on our biological agriculture.
So when did you go organic?
We had more than 20 years of low impact agriculture and the complete certification since the 2010.
So was that your doing or was that your father? Was he happy that you changed?
Allora, my father put the first step, and me and my brother, we completed. So now we try to be as much self-sufficient and clean as we can. In the winery we have a solar panel plant that gives us 100% of the energy that we use inside the winery, as well as a new part of the winery that was built underground using eco-friendly material without change from any point of view the landscape of the area. Humidity and temperature is maintained naturally without using machine. So we try to take care about the place that gives his hospitality to us.
So what makes a Montepulciano-based red wine from the Conero different from your neighbours in Abruzzo? Is there a difference in style in terms of weight or texture or flavour or aroma?
It is very different from many point of view, but also, yes, for sure is for the variety, the clone, the different kind of grapes, but then you have to talk about every single producer, how they used to work with it.
So a very diplomatic answer.
We are a lot of producer and many of them are good producer, I think.
Okay, so having tasted your wines, what I really like about them is you have a lot of purity of fruit, which isn't always the case with organic wines. How do you do the winemaking? Presumably you handpick the grapes?
I think you're talking about the Aion, that is our youngest version of Rosso Conero. So yes, it's a wine where we try to have the bigger extraction of the fruitness of the grapes. So we play with the aromatic part of this variety, and so no influence of oak. Is an harvest that happens around, it depends from the vintage of course, but it's around September. I said before that is a late harvest variety, so usually for our reserve is a grapes that we harvest in end of October.
So for the Ion, the fruit-forward one, you want to sort of slightly early, has this kind of crunchy fruit. When you talk about flavour, what kind of flavours would we be looking for in a Montepulciano that's a sort of fresh style?
Visciola, it's like wild cherry and blackberry and un pochino di rose. A little bit.
Roses. And what's a good local dish for a fruit-forward, fresh Montepulciano-based red?
Actually, Rosso Conero is known for being the red marine wine, so the red wine that you also match with some kind of fish. Of course, we think about fish with a structure. So here, typical things are the stockfish all'anconetana or the stoccafisso, esatto, or the moscioli, spaghetti coi moscioli, that is a wild and D.O.P version of mussels that grow here in the area of Porto Novo. But also in the Aion, you can also match it with a good pizza.
Okay, now what about your top wine, which is the Dorico?
So yes, it's the 4 level. So we skip the classic version and the Conero Riserva and go into the Grand Cru, to say Dorico. Dorico is a particular wine from many point of view. It's a wine that we don't produce every vintage. It's a selection of the best grapes made during the harvest. So it's not a specific piece of the vineyards, but every year when we decide to do it, it can be different.
So this is when the motorbike comes in, you're driving around the vineyard. Oh, that little bit could go into the Dorico. Oh, that little row over there, probably not. Yeah?
Correct.
Okay. So you clearly have a lot of fun here. Now, but you are very serious in terms of the winemaking, because the oaking of Montepulciano grape can be difficult. It can either destroy the wine or it can really help the wine. What's your attitude with the Dorico and the oak aging for the Montepulciano?
We try to balance the oak influence with every vintage and with how can be different every vintage from the others. And actually, we are out with the 2013, and that one is a wine that spent on barrique, half on barrique and half in tonneau of 500 liters, 30 months, but not, of course, new oak, a balance of 1/3.
So when should you ideally drink a Montepulciano red from the Conero?
Good question. We did a vertical few months ago, starting from the 1990, and I think that one was one of the best vintages we tasted. It's a wine that you can wait 10 years to starting to have his.
But are you changing your winemaking? Because we live in such impatient times. We want instant results, instant gratification. We don't want to age our wine for 5, 10, 15 years. How do you get around that?
We actually keep in our winery for 1 year the bottles before start to release it, to give to the market a wine that start to be ready, so you don't have to wait all this time. But at the same time, since you have the passion and the patience for waiting, you can have something very different and nice few years later.
Marco Moroder, thank you very much for talking to me. We've actually done this interview in your car because we couldn't find a quiet place to record, but as a studio this is great. It's mobile and it's got 5 gears. Fantastic. Thanks very much for coming in today.
Thank you, and waiting for you and whoever wants to come in the Marche.
Do I have to arrive on a motorbike or can I arrive on a bicycle? Is that going to be okay?
We can find a motorbike here.
Okay, all right, and a helmet. Marco, thanks very much. It's been really great talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Follow Italian Wine Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.